Hello everyone, my name is Ronnae Rahming, and today I will be presenting my research entitled Musical Voices, the Power of Woodstock in 1969 and Today. The Woodstock Festival was a 72-hour-long musical extravaganza. This festival drew nearly 400,000 individuals from all around the United States. The crowd was so diverse and included many music-loving individuals who also shared the love of peace and unity despite war and other national conflicts. I had the opportunity to study this festival and the peaceful protest music that were influenced. I even had the opportunity to explore the grounds of Bethel Woods and the areas where people sat on the outside because they couldn't get in. I will now explore a timeline leading up from 1969 to today. In August of 1969, that was when the original music festival occurred. There was a tremendous lineup of musical genius and talent, with artists such as Richie Havens, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Olive Guthrie, and Country Joe McDonald, just to name a few. Then, in August of 1994, they had the 25th anniversary celebrations. This anniversary celebrations had over 500,000 individuals in attendance. And what's so crazy is the organizers were not even expecting a crowd of this volume. The crowd got out of control and many policies put in place were not followed. Following the celebrations in 94, there was a Woodstock 99 celebrations with performances from Rage Against the Machine and many more. The celebration was also covered by MTV and the performances are still available on DVD up until today. In the year 2006, land was purchased to open up a performing arts center because the impact of sharing arts and being able to express yourself was so profound. From the 1969 festival, land was purchased in order for them to start a performing arts center, and 2 years later, in 2008, the Woodstock Museum opened. The Woodstock Festival in 1969 was also the start of Richie Havens' career. As a result, he requested his ashes to be scattered all over the festival's ground shortly after his passing in 2013. May his soul rest in peace. Then, in 2016, the Woodstock's ground became an historical site and attracts many visitors yearly. And in 2019, it would have marked the 50th anniversary celebrations, but the celebrations never happened, even though there were plans for it. I will now explain how there was a legacy from the power of Woodstock. I will explain from 1969 how that was the beginning of a legacy. Then I will also talk about the artists in 1969 and their legacy of musical bliss. I will then go into today, the current event, how the legacy continues, and artists of today and how they modernize the legacy. In the Woodstock Festival in 1969, the founders did not imagine that the festival would have made such an impact on music today. They also didn't imagine that the crowd would include over 400,000 individuals. The festival's main purpose was to allow youth to be free and enjoy their hippie culture without being ridiculed by anyone. The power of music and the unity the audience possessed made it possible for protest songs to be a part of American music today. The legacy of musical bliss. The songs had strong messages that mainly spoke about the current time in the United States. The messages evoked many emotions that included feelings about the present events in the United States and the war around the world. Artists such as Country Joe McDonald made protest music that would help listeners to cope with the Vietnam War. In his song, The Fish Chair, I Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die Right. This musical piece was a work of dull amusingness that assisted individuals with the managing factors of the Vietnam War. The legacy continues. Today, not only did the Woodstock ground become an historical site, but this site also is home to an art center that encourages many of its youth participants to pursue talents in arts, from poetry to music and dance. The art center hosts talent exhibitions shown every summer that attracts many crowds. Even though the crowd isn't as much as 400,000, like the original Woodstock Festival, it still allows the youth of today to be free. And today, artists modernize the legacy. Today, protest songs are about current events in the United States and in the world. Today, artists are still making the same type of music, but they are with their own flair. Artists focus on topics such as politics, racial inequality, economic hardships, and other devastating national events. It was very interesting to see that Taylor Swift, America's sweetheart, also makes protest music. In her song, Only the Young, she sheds light on how young voters are deceived by illusions of politicians who don't really have our best interests at heart. In these lyrics, my team is losing, battered and bruising. I see the high fives between the bad guys with my head hung. And that song those lyrics relates to the 2016 general election. I will now go over then and now analysis, comparing and contrasting the impact of protest songs in 1969 and today. Back then, protest songs were created alongside major worldwide events such as the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement. Today, protest songs are made for similar reasons, such as the tensions between South Korea and the United States, and like the example I just gave, the 2016 US general election. Back then, artists denied the fact that their songs were protest music. For example, artist Bob Dylan. Today, that's not the same because artist Lana Del Rey does not deny the fact that she actually does indeed make protest music. Back then, protest songs are more prominent. Today, we don't have as much artists making protest music because they're more focused on R&B, hip hop, and pop. However, they were still really encouraged by the Woodstock Festival in 1969 to indeed make protest music. Back then, the songs/music created motivate the government to listen to the voices of frustrated citizens. Today, we have more technology, so more media outlets are more than happy to advocate for the frustrated citizens. Back then, concerts and in-person music festivals were allowed, and crowds of over 400,000 persons were in attendance. Today, in light of the current COVID-19 pandemic, artists now have to express themselves virtually and through live streaming platforms such as Facebook Live, Instagram Live, even on TikTok, because they can't have concerts like they used to, because they have to adhere to social distancing protocols. As I now reflect on the Woodstock 1969 festival and today, I'm very pleased to say that I wish I would have attended the concert in 1969. Just to feel the rush of adrenaline and how people came together just to express themselves, to be free would have really made such an impact on the rest of the world. And the fact that, people actually still are carrying on that legacy today would have really made me feel like, hey, I was a part of that movement. I was a part of that. I helped make the world a better place today. I would have really loved to be a part of that. Artists such as Country Joe McDonald made it so that artists like Taylor Swift could express themselves and help advocate for the young people who can't really advocate for themselves. People tend to think that they can just do what they want and feel what they want and think that nobody is noticing, but people are actually noticing, and it's because of the protest music that's making those bad things those people are doing known. They're shedding light on it through their music, and I think that's really, really, really a good thing. Thanks for the Woodstock Music Festival in 1969. Thank you.